Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're very excited that you're joining our series of webinars that we handpick on different topics. So my name is Azzat Sayer, and I'm from Cloud for Work. We are a company that helps organizations who have invested in cloud technologies make the most out of it through adoption and change management. So today I have my colleague Nika Shter. She's our Senior Customer Success Manager. She'll take us through the webinar of today. It's very exciting because this topic has been on the top of office workers for many years. How can we reduce the number of emails? Happy that today we have new tools, new ways of communication, and this is what we're going to cover today. So with that, I will pass it to Nika. She will also take you through the agenda and the rest of the webinars, and I'll join you again at the Q&A session. Nika, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Azzat, and I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us today. As Azzat already mentioned, the topic for today will be the battle of the titans, Outlook versus Teams, how to reduce the number of emails. And I will just quickly move to the agenda. I will start with a brief introduction to some scary statistics. Then I will move to time-saving tips for Outlook. I will tell you how to use Microsoft Teams to combat internal emails. We will briefly cover the integration between Teams and Outlook. Then we will move to a very exciting part, which is a Kahoot game. And I hope you will listen to me carefully today, because a lot of questions that we will be asking in the quiz will be also mentioned in this presentation. So we will have a winner who will win a $100 voucher for Amazon. Then we will tell you a bit about our special offer for this webinar. And then towards the end, we will have a Q&A, which will be covered by me and Azzat. We also have a Q&A option chat available in this webinar, so please feel free to share any feedback, comments, to post any questions that you might have. If we don't manage to answer them during the webinar, we will certainly get back to you later on. So before I start, I would just like to share some results from our survey. Approximately 2 weeks ago, we posted a survey on LinkedIn, and we asked you, besides meetings, what do you spend the most time on? And 58% of the people still said emails. So in spite of all these new tools and solutions, people still seem to be struggling with emails. And I think this challenge is very close to, to our hearts. And this is the most common challenge that is reported to me during my workshops and sessions that I deliver. So hopefully today we will tackle this challenge, and hopefully today you will learn some new ways of overcoming this problem. So according to Forbes, on average, office workers receive at least 200 messages a day and spend about 2.5 hours reading and replying to emails. So to add to this, 144 out of 200 emails an office worker receives each day are irrelevant to them. I think this is really scary in a way. So this means that 72% of emails that we get, or 1.8 hours a day that we spend working, are completely wasted, are not relevant to us, are not contributing to our productivity. But this is not the end. 55% of workers agree that excessive emails prevent them from doing their primary job duties. On the right-hand side, you can see Barry, and as you can see, he says, "Hi, my name is Barry, and I check my email 200 to 300 times a day." I think this is also another very common issue faced in the corporate world. This is happening mostly to the infamous CCing, but also using email as an instant messaging tool. Using email as your default communication tool is far from being ideal, and while it might seem okay to do it sporadically, managing your inbox will shortly become a nightmare when you develop such habits and when you encourage them in the corporate environment. So my main question here is how to decrease the number of emails and improve at the same time the internal communication flow, and also how to combat this endless flood of emails and how to remain productive throughout the workday. And I will now share some time-saving tips for Outlook. To be more specific, I will share the 3 key tips for Outlook. Tip number 1, Sweep tool. Sweep tool is available in Outlook Online, and the Sweep tool runs once every 24 hours. It helps you quickly delete unwanted emails in your inbox or to move them to another folder. Sweep gives you the options to automatically delete all incoming emails from a particular sender, to keep only the latest email, or to delete emails that are older than 10 days. So as I said, you should go to Outlook Online to have access to this tool, and then select the specific message. And as you can see from this screenshot, on the top you will have the option to use Sweep tool. Once when you click on this, you will get the option that I told you, so you don't necessarily need to delete the messages. You can also move them to another folder. So this will help you hopefully clean up your inbox a bit and also organize your emails by using Sweep. Tip number 2, setting up rules in Outlook. This is not a new tip. This is something that has been around for a while, but I'm just mentioning this because surprisingly a lot of people are not aware of this. So a lot of people are not aware of the ability to organize their emails and to automate actions in Outlook by setting up rules. Also, a lot of people don't know that they can create a rule directly from the specific message, but they can also manage rules and alerts. I'm going to show you again some screenshots that I made for this. But before I move to this, I just want to tell you that before you start creating your rules, you should always think about what works for you, because something that works for you does not necessarily mean that it will work for the rest of your team, and vice versa. So let's say maybe you want to set up rules to send all the messages where you're CC'd to a specific folder, or you want to create filters to separate your internal from external emails. Maybe you want to sort out your emails by keywords. Let's say if you work for a large organization, maybe you get a lot of emails with the keyword announcement and you're not really prioritizing those announcements. You can create this filter with the keyword announcements, or for your information, or whatever you prefer. So just always take some time to think what works for you, and then start building, setting up your rules. Rules can run manually and automatically. This is up to you. So this is how you create a rule directly from the message. It's really straightforward. You take a right click at a specific message, as you can see on my screen. First, you will click on rules. Then from there, you will see a drop-down menu, create rule, and from there you can create rule. So this is again creating a rule directly from a message. And I obviously skipped some steps, so you can get back to us after this webinar if you want a more detailed explanation, but I just wanted to show you once when you get to the final stage of setting up rules, what you can do. So you can apply a variety of rules based on what you need from this rule. You can create a rule to move messages to a specific folder, to play a specific sound, to mark it as important, to redirect it to someone, and so on. Down below, just for the sake of this example, I created a rule where my name is in the CC box and where my name is not in the to box, to move it to the Nika's workshop folder. So this is the rule I created, and this will automate the process and move the messages. Again, this will save your time and your efforts, because if you automate some messages, you will spend more time filtering them manually, and maybe at the end of the day, you will check your CC folder, or I don't know, announcement folder, and so on. So I would really like to encourage you to explore this option if you haven't done this until now. Managing rules and alerts can also be done in general from a message, and this is what I'm showing you now. So if you remember on the first screenshot, I showed you that you can go to rules, and to create rule for the specific message. For general rules and alerts, you can go to manage rules and alerts. Of course, You can also manage rules and alerts from your Outlook options, main options. Tip number 3, creating and using email templates. So use email templates to send messages that include information that infrequently changes. You can compose and save a message as a template, and then you can reuse it when you want it or when you need it. And of course, new information can be added before the template is sent as an email message. So just some examples. If I remember correctly, we have a lot of senior people attending, also a lot from HR. You probably have some announcements, or you have some employee onboarding emails, tutorials for sales templates. Everyone has different types of meeting invites. Repetitive that is reused can be saved as a template and used in the future. Again, this will save you time to create those emails. So how do you do that? Let's assume that over here I wrote some text, I prepared this template. I will click on a File tab over here, File. Then I will click on Save As, and then from this drop-down menu here, I will select Outlook template. And this means that I will save my template, which I can reuse later on. I will just keep this a little bit longer for you to be able to memorize. Of course, we will share the recording anyway, but in case you just want to remember it now. And then once when this is saved, you can use an existing template. How do you use an existing template? You click on New Items, then from drop-down menu, you select More Items, and then Choose Form, and after Choose Form, you will select User Templates in File System. So the winner of round templates and external communication is Outlook. The next point is Microsoft Teams, your weapon to combat internal emails. Most of you probably do use Microsoft Teams. For those who don't, I would just like to tell you that Microsoft Teams is the fastest growing business application in Microsoft's history, that there are more than 115 plus million daily active users, that 93 Fortune 100 companies use Microsoft Teams for communication and collaboration, and that 2.7 billion Teams meetings minutes were generated in a single day. And also translations are available in 60 plus languages. So Microsoft Teams is the tool that you can use for both internal and external communication, and it's definitely dominating in internal communication because it will help you reduce the number of emails you are getting. I'm starting with tip number 1 for Microsoft Teams, that is use Teams for internal chats. So using Outlook for chatting is a bad practice, which will result in even more email overload. So you should use Teams to exchange quick messages with your team members in a secure and convenient way. And you can do that by just searching for their name or their email address. In other words, you can contact anyone across your organization by searching for their name or their email address, and definitely reduce the number of unnecessary emails internally. How do you do that? You will click on chat icon on the left hand side, and from here you will initiate the search, as I said, by the name or email address, and you can contact anyone. You can send them a message, you can call them from here, as you can see on my screen, share your screen, add more people, create group chats, and so on. So this is the first tip to reduce the number of internal emails. The second one is to create channels to organize discussions. Channels are there to help you organize discussions around the specific topics. To have a more organized stream of communication, organized by topics, and to have this communication easily accessible in the relevant channels, you should create teams. And this will also help you save time when searching for information when needed. Over here, as you can see on my screen, I created an HR department team, and I created channels relevant to it: HR policies, onboarding, recruitment, and database for CVs. And this will help me organize my discussions. let's say you want to discuss something about HR policies, you will go to this specific channel and you will initiate your conversations there, not just conversations, also files. I will get to that point and briefly cover it as well. The whole point is you will always know where your information is. You will not be emailing people who don't care about your emails. You will not be CC'd in correspondences that are not your priority, because everything will be organized and strategically accessible from the relevant channels. Tip number 3, set up notifications properly. This is another useful tool because with Teams you have the possibility of deciding which notifications you'll be getting, and you have the possibility of adjusting your notifications to your priorities, to your goals, to what you're working on, and so on. You can switch them on and off, adjust them to your temporary preferences, and if you want to trigger a notification and want to notify someone and grab someone's attention, then you can use at their name, at the team's name, or the word team, at channel's name. So once again, with Teams, you can trigger notifications when you really want someone in the loop, and also you can switch the notifications on and off for yourself and adjust them to your priorities. As you can see on the screen, I went to this channel, and over here at the ellipsis, when I clicked on the ellipsis, channel notifications appeared, and over here I can decide what types of notifications I'll be getting for this specific channel, if any. So this will again hopefully help you with reducing the number, not just emails, but also notifications that you're getting on a daily basis. And now I would just like to briefly present a case study preparing a presentation. And this is a very, very common case study that I frequently hear about in my workshops. So the case study, we will say, let's say we have Emma who wants to prepare a presentation. And to prepare this presentation, she needs some inputs from the graphic designer and from the marketing department and maybe her manager and a few more people. So the very common way of dealing with this is emailing the first person who will share some inputs, and then emailing the second person who will maybe make some adjustments to this presentation. And then Emma will end up with having at least 20 emails about this topic, never being aware of what the latest version of this specific file is, wasting a lot of time emailing these people, wasting a lot of time trying to figure out what the best version is, and all of them will be somehow disconnected and not working productively. So with Teams, you can simply put a file on Teams in the relevant channel. Everyone can collaborate on this document. Everyone can do their part. You will always have access to the latest version. If you're not happy with the latest version and for some reason you need to retrieve the previous version, you can simply go to the file history and retrieve the old version of this document. And also you can comment on the file itself instead of sending messages and emails and additional time. Also, this gives you transparency because you will always know who is doing what, and you will always know what the latest update on this particular document is. So once again, the absolute winner of the round internal communication is Microsoft Teams. Let's quickly move to integration between Teams and Outlook. So over here, I will cover a couple of points. One is send emails from Outlook to Teams, then how to share Teams conversations from Teams to Outlook, how to use the Teams meeting add-in in Outlook, and I will also briefly tell you about the new upcoming features in Outlook. So first, we have forwarding email from Outlook to the designated channel. Let's say you received a proposal or something from the external stakeholder or your client. Instead of discussing this email with your team in Outlook, you can simply move this email from Outlook to the designated channel and continue the discussion there. How do you do that? Let's say I want to forward this email to recruitment channel, recruitment, or here. I will click on the ellipsis next to recruitment channel, and then I will click on get email address. As you can see on the screen, the third step is this pop-up. I will simply copy the channel's email address and I will paste it in the to field of my email message. Okay. And what will happen? This email that I forwarded will appear in the designated channel in recruitment. It will show here and everyone can comment on it and discuss it below. Obviously, if they click on reply below this message, they will not send a reply to the original sender. They will just comment on this email that has been forwarded to this channel. This is a new feature, and I made a very brief video to show you how to use this. It is drag and drop emails directly to Teams. So instead of the entire process of forwarding emails to the channels, which I showed you, you also have this option to drag and drop emails directly to Teams. The difference is that if you forward it the regular way, like I showed you before, you have more control over what type of information is going to be forwarded, whether the attachments and the entire text and formatting will be included or not. So, as you can see, I want to forward something to this HR policies channel. I'm just dragging this email and dropping it in the designated channel, and maybe here I want to mention the HR team and to trigger the notification and tell them that I forwarded this email to this specific channel. Sharing Teams conversations from Teams to Outlook. Share to Outlook is something that enables you to share a copy of Teams conversation to an email in Outlook without having to leave Teams. So this is handy if users need to share conversations or maybe status updates with users outside their immediate team. So over here, I will again click on this ellipsis above the specific message that I want to share to Outlook, and then I will click on share to Outlook. So once again, above the specific message that I want to forward from Teams to Outlook, ellipsis, and then share to Outlook. And this will result in forwarding this specific message to Outlook. The next point is using the Teams add-in in Outlook to schedule a new Teams meeting. So the Teams meeting add-in lets users schedule a Teams meeting from Outlook. It is available for Outlook on Windows, Mac, web, and mobile. So how do I do that? The fastest way is to go to new items, and then from new items, I will go to Teams meeting. And this will enable me to schedule a Teams meeting directly from Outlook, so I don't have to go to my Teams application if I don't want to. And another way of doing this is to click on your calendar in Outlook and then also schedule a Teams meeting from there. Using the Teams add-in in Outlook to reply with a Teams meeting. Obviously, you can also do that. Let's say you got this email, you want to suggest a Teams meeting to your customer. Just above this message, you will click on this icon, and then this pop-up will appear, and you will be able to select Teams meeting option, which will add a link to this email, and they will be able to join the meeting through their app or the browser or any device they're using. So this is also very, very useful to know that you can also reply directly to a specific email with a Teams meeting. Maybe most of you know this, but I just want to emphasize that you can schedule Teams meetings with both internal and external stakeholders, customers. They don't need to have Teams application, and they can join from their browser if they don't have Teams. upcoming features in Outlook. Two upcoming features that I want to mention in this webinar. Obviously, a lot more are coming, but I just picked these two because these are relevant to the topics that we're covering. Meet Now in Outlook, which will start an instant meeting from the Calendar tab of Outlook windows. You already have Meet Now in Teams, so some of you might be familiar with it. It is coming to Outlook, I believe, either later this month, but definitely before spring. And the second new feature is Share to Teams, which enables you to share an email or a conversation from Outlook to a person or a channel in Teams. This might sound a bit confusing because it's similar to the existing feature, but this will be one ribbon, one simple button to help you share to Teams from Outlook immediately. And obviously this integration will be even more enhanced. And again, some of you might already be able to see this from what I heard, but the roadmap says that this will be available this spring or March. So the next point is webinar special offer, and I'm going to hand this over to my colleague Azad, who will tell you a bit more about the special offer for this webinar and for all of you who attended this webinar.
Thank you, Nika. This is great. Thank you for the webinar and the game. I think it was also entertaining to watch. So just go to the next slide. So we have here a special offer for today's webinar. We want to offer $100 discount if you book one of our online workshops. And to do that, you can connect with us at connect@cloud4work.com. So the online workshops are, I mean, we have a catalog of workshops to help you become more productive. They are covering applications such as Microsoft Teams, Teams and Planner, Teams and other applications. So we have a catalog of workshops, and if you want, also you can check the catalog. You can see it on our website. So you go to cloud4work.com, and then you click on book workshops online, and you can see the catalog. What you can do also is you can book online, so you can book and pay online on our website. And to benefit from the $100 discount, you can use the promo code webinar100. So this is open for all the webinars attendees. You can either connect on email or go to the website and book your workshop online. After that, Nika, we came to the Q&A part. So here we are picking up some of the questions that they were asked. So again, now we have a few minutes for you if you want to add some more questions on the Q&A section. Please feel free to do that.
Yes.
So while we just start with the questions, you can always add your questions on the Q&A. So the first one we have, this one is for you, Nika. So can I chat with people outside of my organization via Microsoft Teams?
Yes, that's a great question. I think this is a very, very common question. So throughout this webinar, I was trying to emphasize the internal communication with Teams, because this is the most common challenge, the biggest challenge using emails in internal communication. But you can also use Teams to chat with the external stakeholders. Of course, this needs to be enabled by your IT. Again, if you need help with this, if you need guidance on how to enable this feature and you're from the IT department, we are happy to help you with this. But to answer your question, yes, it's possible, and we actually do that very often. We often chat with our external stakeholders and business partners through Teams. So, not sure if you want to add anything to this, Azad, or I think.
No, that's great. That's clear. So we can go to the next one on the chat. So can we schedule a Teams online meeting from Outlook Mobile?
Yes, the answer to this is yes, you can. You can schedule a Teams online meeting from Outlook Mobile. And obviously, you can also do it from Windows, from web, from Mac.
Okay, super. So I think the last question we have here on the Q&A is I mean, it's my favorite topic, so I might just answer it. Should we stop using Outlook for internal communications? So I think that's the overall kind of a theme of the webinar as well. So I mean, for internal communication, we had in the past the only tool we had was Outlook. Now, after the introduction of Teams and some other tools from other companies, there is now a nice substitute. So you could use chatting. It's more formal. It's more you can find easily your colleagues. You can know their presence. So it's really an easy and more modern way to communicate with your colleagues than using Outlook. And I think also as those platforms evolved, they started to allow to share documents, co-author documents, organize conversations in channels and teams and all these things. So I think today we can confidently say that yes, you can stop using Outlook for internal communication and use only Teams. It supports all the concepts of that has Outlook. So sending to someone, CCing someone else, attaching documents, all those ways of communication that were that proved to be very productive can now be shifted to Teams and becomes a more casual platform, straightforward, available on the mobile, also adapted to the new way of communication for the new generations who are more used to chatting and quick questions and quick answers. So I think just to kind of summarize a little bit the question, I mean, in the past, we were not able to replace Outlook even for internal communication, but today with the maturity of Teams, we can definitely do that. So we can have 100% internal communication on Teams and leave Outlook for external communication when email is needed to communicate with your clients, with your providers, contractors, and so on. So I hope that that answers the questions. And I think we, again, I mean, if someone wants to ask a question, you can do so on the Q&A section. I don't see any. Yeah, there's one more question. Can we take copy or backup of the chats in Teams? So you can you can copy paste the chats from Teams and paste them anywhere else, or you can do as Nika showed us. You can send the full conversation from Teams to Outlook or to anyone else. So this is the way to kind of share a conversation happening on Teams to Outlook or to take a copy of that conversation. Let me see. So I think we are. Yeah, so I just there are no more questions on the chat. So if you have any questions, you can add them now. What I wanted to say, I can see some users had some issues playing Kahoot. So apologies for that. You might have experienced some delays between seeing the questions and replying to the question. So apologies for that if you were not able to join, but definitely if you keep watching the space, next time we will have another webinar, we'll have another set of questions, and hopefully you can join, you know, by then and have a chance to win and participate and all of that. So apologies for this. I think we have no more questions and we are just a few minutes past oh, there's another question, how to take full backup of a conversation. So that again, same thing, you can copy paste or you can share the conversation to Outlook or to another email. From an admin perspective, all the content in Teams is backed up, so it follows the same security policies that your IT sets for the whole company. So if you have a set data retention policy in Office 365 to hold on your emails for 5 years, 7 years, or just unlimited, it applies to content in Teams. So at any point in time, you can collect, you can go back to your archive and pull out information from Teams. I think this answers also, Jihad, the question how long to keep the conversation. So this is the data retention policy. you can set it up for the full content of Office 365, documents in SharePoint, in OneDrive, content in Teams and Outlook, and all the other content as well. Okay, great.
I would just like to apologize again for the issues with Kahoot game, and to congratulate the winner, and to thank you all for attending. Please don't hesitate to share any feedback or questions in the event on LinkedIn. We had a meet and greet group, but now we will be available there to also post, I believe, the recording of the webinar, and to answer any questions or any requests you might have.
Yeah. So Anika, just if you can move to the next slide. Yes. So here again, I mean, we'd like to thank you all for attending. Thank you, Nika, for a great content of the webinar, and really the game was entertaining. Just to leave you with our email address. I mean, you know us maybe from, you can reach us from LinkedIn, direct contact, but keep in mind you can always contact us on connect@cloud4work. If you have any questions or anything that you would want to know about. We will share the link to the recording, so we'll share it on the LinkedIn page, and we'll send it to you also by email so that you can refer to it at any point in time, or just forward it to your colleagues. So with that, we'll close. So thank you so much again for attending, and have a nice day.
Thank you.